Last class we created painted paper by doing something called mono printing. Being kind is something that we've been thinking about a lot lately, and in the art room and in the world, being kind can mean sharing. Today, if you don't have a lot of pieces of painted paper that you made, if you only have one or two, somebody else can donate to you. If you have more than enough, like I have here, I can donate to somebody else. So the first step is we want to cut these in half so that I can keep one half and I can donate or share my other half. You can do that yourself by folding the two short sides of the paper. I match up my short sides like this. I hold it so that they're together, and then with my free hand, I'm making a crease, which is a nice sharp fold, trying to keep it as folded perfectly in half as I can. When I open it up, I can see the line, that's the crease, and I just want to cut down that line. So this is me cutting my big rectangle up into two smaller rectangles. Now I get to keep one I get to give away. If you'd like, you can bring them up to me, have them in a nice stack together like this, and I will cut them for you, and you're ready for the next step. Once you have all your pieces of paper cut in half, pick 4 very different colors. So green and purple are very different from each other. This one's not that different because I have orange on this one too, and blue and purple are very similar in value, meaning they're about the same darkness. So these are a little too similar. I'm not going to use that one. I can donate that one. This one's very different, and out of everything else I have, I think the yellow stands out. So those are my 4 very different colors. The next step is to fold this piece of paper. Again, I'm folding the short sides, holding it where it lines up, and then using my free hand to make a crease. I want to draw half of a shape. I'm going to draw that half of the shape on a fold right here, so that when I open up my paper after I cut it out, there will be 2 pieces, the shape that I made and the area around the shape. That's called positive and negative space. It's negative space, the area around, and positive space, the shape that I cut out. This one is positive, and this space around the shape is negative. I'm going to fold my paper in half like I have it here, and then I'm going to trace half of a shape. Now, you can just freehand draw the shape right on there, but you want to make sure that it's only half of it and it touches this fold. I also have a few templates you can use. This is half of a heart, but I'm only using half. The part that I want to line up to the fold is this part, which is directly in the middle of my heart. This straight line needs to line up with this straight line. When I say line up, I don't mean beside it. I mean directly on it. And I'll show you why. I'm holding it where it lines up. I'm drawing the line. I'm not drawing this one because this is already on the fold. Do not touch the fold. Pretend it's hot lava. Don't touch it, you'll get burned. Just go around it carefully. I'm going to demonstrate what I see a lot of other young students doing. So when I tell them to trace this on the fold, they do this. Is my heart, is my half of a shape directly on the fold? It is not. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to end up with 2 half pieces, and when I open this up, it's not quite a heart because I cut on that fold there. So instead, make sure that your tracer is lined up right on the fold. Don't even draw on that. Just leave it alone. Draw around everything else. Make sure that this is touching the fold. It should look like this. Now, when I cut, I'm not going to touch that fold at all. Instead, cut around it. So I'm cutting the lines that I just traced, the curved line. When I open it up, I will have a full heart because I didn't cut on that fold. And when I open this up, I will have the negative space of the heart. Use whatever shape you want. I also have star tracers if you want to use those, or draw your own shape like a triangle or a circle or a square. I'm going to use half of this star. Now I know that this is the half part, right? Because that's the straight line. So I'm going to line it up on the fold, not beside it, but on the fold. I'm not tracing the fold. Instead, I'm going to draw around it. And there's my half of a star. when I cut it out, I'm not going to cut on the fold. I'm going to cut around it and leave that fold alone. When I cut, I turn my paper instead of my cutting hand, stopping where I want to change direction, turning the paper. When I open it up, there's my full star, there's my negative space of the star. Now, I'm going to be saving these because I'm going to make artwork out of them. So let me just put them all here in a pile, and let me do 2 more. But just remember, this straight line goes on top of the fold. Also, I don't want my star to touch the end. I want to leave some space there, at least a fingertip amount of space, so that I don't accidentally cut that apart. Now I have a background piece of paper and I need a glue stick. First, what I'm going to do is take all my positive shapes and put them aside, and I'm going to glue just the negative shapes down. Flipping over one at a time, I'm going to run glue all the way around the edges and then in the inside of my shape too. So basically the entire thing, and then I'm going to line the corner up. So this corner gets lined up with that corner. Try to line it up as straight as I can. It's going to end up filling pretty much the whole background paper. I think I'm going to do my other star there, and I like that. So I'm going to put my heart here. So when things don't line up perfectly, it makes it kind of interesting because you can see that background color a little bit, like right here. I can move this one over a little bit if I want, but I had just glued it down first, so it might already be almost dry. That I was very careful doing that. I don't want to rip it when I pull it apart. So instead of lining it up on the corner, I think I'm going to line it up with these ones. Now, when I put the positive spaces in, if I put this one in there, you're not going to even see it. So the whole point is to flip-flop them. I'm going to put this heart in that heart, and I'm going to put this one there. And you can see the colors are very different from each other, so it looks really cool. Gluing all the way around the edge, and then when I put it in, I can put it in straight like this, or I can turn it even a little bit and leave some of that background space showing. I kind of like some of my background color showing, so I'm going to go with that. The stars, it's really important. The points are glued down all the way so they don't come off the paper. I can line it up perfectly like this, or I can turn it a little bit, move it a little bit so you can see the background. The remainder of the painting paper, if I traded with other people, I can use theirs, or I can go in the donation box and get some. I want to show you the artist Eric Carle. He's most famous for making The Very Hungry Caterpillar, but he makes many other books too, and all of them are done with collaging painted paper, just like we did. Just the shape of the heart in an interesting pattern, right side up and upside down and right side up and upside down, so they all fit together really cool. I can cut my pieces of paper into all the same shape and arrange it in an interesting way like this. Oh, look, there's a little surprise there. Or I can make my own artwork using the painted paper as my shapes and as my picture. These are called collages. Collages are cut paper art. So with the remainder of my paper, I can go get another background piece of paper, and I can cut these up and create a picture or a pattern.